people don't realize just how you're only as good, right, as your weakest link. That, and to be successful, I could only take it alone for so long. In fact, I tried to do it alone for too long. But you want people that you align with, both from a work ethic perspective, from a dedication perspective. But what I want is people more talented than me. That's the goal. I know this. If I'm the weakest link, we're in good shape because I know how hard I will work. So there's two parts. How do you seek out and find great talent? And then how do you provide them with an experience where they feel challenged? And I think what people want to feel valued. And that's one thing, like I always go, I value them. I value their work.
Welcome to Growth Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today, we're going to talk about keeping the best employees. If your institutional knowledge walks out the door, what happens? Most companies don't have a way to capture that. That institutional knowledge isn't in our SOPs. Should it be? That's another question. How do you keep your best employees? Well, today's conversation is co-founder and CEO of HexClad. HexClad's that innovative kitchen utensil or kitchen cookware that you see Gordon Ramsay talk about quite often. I talked with Danny Weiner. Danny is we had a really great conversation about how to keep the best employees when it comes down to this. One of the things that I'll highlight for you is those employees have to feel valued. I know it's very easy for me to say, if they don't feel valued, they're not going to stay. But your job as a leader is to engineer, create moments where people feel valued, and to make that a natural part of the conversations, whether it be the praise you give people or even letting their ideas be shared and you listening to them. You've got to have them feel valued. Now, there's many other elements of this that we unpack, but I just wanted to highlight that for you because it really is a very important element of keeping the best employees. My name is Gene Hammett. I'm an executive coach. We work with companies that are in sort of dynamic mode of growth. Many of our companies are on the Inc. 5000 or similar, and they're growing at levels that cause them to feel the pressure, feel the chaos, and experience a lot of negative feedback. And a lot of times it's very simple things that they're missing and they just don't know what it is. My job is to help you continue the growth of your company, continue to have the right leadership and the culture that drives sustainable growth and predictable growth over time. If you want to join the conversation with some of the things that we have, and maybe it's people that have been on the show before and clients, they all show up. Well, I wouldn't say they all show up, but some of them show up to a virtual conversation meeting that we have once a month. And the next one coming up is really going to be an incredible one. I won't tell you what it is because I want you to go check out the list at my website, coreelevation.com/virtual conversations. Once a month, CEOs, founders, executives of fast growth companies center around a topic that they all want to participate in and learn from others about. And so we do that. I facilitate the conversation every month. If you want to check out the next date, the next topic, go to coreelevation.com/virtual conversations. You can't miss it. Look forward to seeing you. Now, here's the interview with Danny. Danny, how are you?
I'm well, Gene. It's a pleasure to meet you.
We're going to have a great podcast. We're going to talk about keeping your best employees. And before we do that, I've already let them know about you, but I want you to tell them in your own words about your company, HexClad.
Sure. So Gene, my co-founder and I started HexClad in 2016, and we are a innovative kitchenware product, and our hero product is a line of cookware called Hexclad Hybrid Cookware. I grew up with a family in the restaurant business. My grandmother was the first female head chef in Buffalo, New York in the 50s, so it was always a very strong relationship with food in our family. And somebody I'm a fine home cook, could never do it, like my mind doesn't like a musician hears music in their head. I can't create that recipe in my head. So, and though I love the celebration that comes along with eating with loved ones, sought a different role in it. And having been in the cookware industry, I was always looking for what I thought was the holy grail, which was like something that was completely different, that fixed, multiple problems. And essentially, you had your stainless steel cookware, you had your cast iron cookware, you had your nonstick Teflon cookware for the most part. And I met a gentleman who created this laser etching process. He was actually making Korean barbecue plates. And I met him at 15, and I essentially sat him down and I was like, can we do this with frying pans and cookware? He's like, I think so. And we started a journey of designing this cookware that the goal was, it's seared like stainless steel. It was as durable as cast iron. And yet when you went to wash it, it would clean up easily, like a nonstick pan. And it took us about a year and a half design to get the cookware ready for the Western market. And then we launched in November 16. I still have the email, the first frying pan sold, like the guy that puts the $1 bill, the first dollar bill up in a frame in his store. So we have that email. And and then we launched, and it was an incredible struggle because our strategy was to be the first D2C cookware company. And when I tried to sell this story, I got a couple things. I'd go in to try to raise money, and a company would go, some venture capital group would go, okay, well, wait a minute. So it's a new cookware with these hexagons. And then they would go, well, how are you going to get shelf space at Bed Bath & Beyond? I go, aha, we don't want shelf space. We're going to be the first D2C cookware brand. And they're like, oh, gee, nobody buys cookware that way. Thank you for stopping. Move along. And we kept getting that. And then Cole and I looked at each other. We're like, do we believe in this or not? And essentially what we did was, in 16 and 17, I cashed out all my retirement accounts. We applied for credit cards, and we paid one credit card with another credit card, and we couldn't get any outside investment. And we barely made it. And then we hit November, December of 17, and things started taking off. And then it was a rocket ship after that. So that's kind of who we are and how we got going.
One of the things that's interesting about your brand, I mean, it is a new, innovative approach to something we've all probably used before, if you've cooked anything. And you actually, I don't know when you partnered or how you would frame in working with Gordon Ramsay, but that's what I know you from, is like, he talks about how, incredible this is. And the videos of that just really are engaging. So that's worked out really well for your company, is have an influencer. Tell me just a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to me, at least, because there are those moments in your life, like when I met the guy who knew how to laser etch, like nobody had done this before. And then there was, in the summer of 20, we were doing incredibly well. And the person managing my social media called me, and he just said, do you know Gordon Ramsay's following us on Instagram? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. He's like, yeah, should I reach out? I'm like, yeah, reach out. So he just sent a DM and said, hey, we see you're following us. Have you used our cookware? Would you like to try it out? And we got a message back. Yeah, Gordon has a pan and he likes it. Great. Can we send some more? Yeah, send some more over. By the way, does Gordon have a cookware partnership or deal? I don't think so, but let's find out. And then cut to less than a week later, I was on the phone with Gordon's business manager. And he told me, he's like, Gordon got a chef friend set a pan a few months back, and Gordon really liked it. He's been home cooking, like he can't film any shows right now. So he's with his family cooking every day, and he likes the pan. He loves how versatile it is. And he's like, Gordon would do something for you. Do you want him to do a commercial? Great. Whatever. He threw some crazy number for a commercial. I don't remember what it was. I'm like, well, I don't know. I wouldn't mind something more. He goes, what? Gordon loves to get involved in stuff. He believes it. He goes, so maybe Gordon would like to do something more robust. I'm like, all right, robust. Let's talk about that. And, he's like, look, Gordon's time poor, but when he loves something, he gets behind it in ways you never expected. So when you sign with Gordon or vice versa, you're going to get more than you bargained for. And I went like, is that a promise or a threat? Yeah. And he goes, both. And I'm like, perfect. And then a couple weeks later, we scheduled a Zoom call. And, I logged on, and then I'm like in front of the computer, and I go on, I log on, and then I just see Gordon's giant face, and I'm like, and he goes, Denny. And I'm like, Gordon. And we started talking. He's like, Denny, I love the product. I can't do it, Gordon. I wish I could. I should just practice it till I get it down and I could do it to him all the time. He's like, I love the fucking product. He's like, Danny, I don't need the money. He's like, and I've got 90 restaurants and I've got this many shows. He goes, I like the product. And you know what? I thought we were going to talk for about 15, 20 minutes, and we talked for almost an hour and a half. And we just hit it off. And we had the same professional ethos about excellence and not cutting corners. And I think we connected. And I'll tell you, it's amazing because he is a great partner. We own the entire company at that point, Paul and I. So like Gordon is a partner and he's reinvested in the company. So he believes in it, but any questions I have, I just call him. If he he gives feedback. If we have anything new in development, he's like, send it to me. I'll put it through its paces. He'll make product suggestions. He's great. I can't speak more highly of the man, and he's a good man, and he's loyal, and he's admirable, and it's just one of those weird serendipitous things that happen. And the great thing about Gordon is Gordon's still, some people go, oh, well, he's on TV now. Well, guess what? Gordon also has a 3 Michelin star restaurant in London, a 2 Michelin star restaurant. And no, does he cook every day? No, of course. Almost no chefs at that level do. Does he still create the menus and work closely with them? He does all that stuff. Yeah. The guy's the hardest working guy I know.
Well, I spend a lot more time than I normally do talking about the business and the product because I'm just very interested in it. But I also know that we came here to talk about keeping the best employees. So you've grown your business really fast since this, having trouble starting. Typical story. Felt like you were called crazy a lot, which we all have then, these entrepreneurs. But you wouldn't be where you are today if you couldn't keep your best employees. So what is the key to keeping your employees?
And Gene, one thing I want to do is I want to compliment you on this topic because I've done other podcasts or interviews, and this is something that's almost glossed over. Like people don't realize just how you're only as good, right, as your weakest link. And to be successful, I could only take it alone for so long. In fact, I tried to do it alone for too long even. But you want people that you align with, both from a work ethic perspective, from a dedication perspective. But what I want is people more talented than me. That's the goal. I know this. If I'm the weakest link, we're in good shape because I know how hard I will work. So there's 2 parts. How do you seek out and find great talent? And then how do you provide them with an experience where they feel challenged? And I think what people want to feel valued. And that's one thing, like I always go, I value them. I value their work. When I gave a talk at our Christmas party last year, holiday party, I didn't know what I was going to say even. I just got up and I looked at all these amazing people and I'm like, you know what? I value you people. I really do, because you're smart and you're ambitious and you're hardworking. So how do you keep them? I think one, people want to feel valued. And very often they don't. They feel like I'm a number. Maybe my opinion doesn't matter. I had, our partnership manager is, in her mid to late 20s, when it's, a mid-level management position right now. And she wants to know her path. She's like, I love the company and I want a path. And I said, you know what? I would love your opinion on things like marketing. I would love you. I go, you're our customer, right? You're a customer maybe in 2 years. I go, sit in any meeting. If you're free, sit in on a meeting. You add value. I think that's important. We have a hybrid work schedule. Some people love it. Some people wish they could do 100% from home. It's all negotiable, but I always tell them, I go, amazing things, so to speak, happen around the water cooler, and you don't get to do that when we got 30 minutes on Zoom. We get through our agenda and you got 1 minute to say something else and then we're on to the next call. It's that stuff. That's where I get some of the junior people, like, come in and help me make a decision about this. How would you react to this? And so what I try to do is keep an environment where they know they're valued, where they know their opinion will be listened to, whether it's right or wrong. And we'll spend time with it, and that they know that they have access to me and the rest of the C-suite to help them grow as both individuals and workers, and to be a sounding board for innovations that they may have.
Now, Danny's been talking about getting your employees to feel valued. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, here's a couple of things that you can look at. When I was looking at this, and when I'm talking with clients, I'm always looking for little simple things. First and foremost, if you want people to feel valued, you have to praise them. Simple. You have to tell them you appreciate the work you're doing. Now, the special sauce of this is it's not you're doing a good job. Be very specific. What problem did they overcome? What did they find, or what was the breakthrough or innovation? Be as specific with that praise as possible. It will mean more. It will be more genuine, and they will appreciate it more. Another place is if they have ideas, let them share it. I've said this from stages forever. You want to create a culture where the best ideas win. And you have to ask yourself, are the best ideas winning? Or is it just your ideas as the founder or your ideas as the leadership team? It isn't just about the top leaders having the ideas to move forward. It's about others participating and wanting to be a part of that movement forward and the breakthroughs, and you listening to them. Their ideas will stink sometime. I will just say it. But listening to their ideas is very important. Now, there's much more to this, but we'll get back to the interview with Daniel. I really love this. I mean, I wish I didn't have to have as many conversations as I do about appreciating your employees. A lot of CEOs go, I pay them a salary, I get out of their way, I just expect them to get the job done. And I'm like, well, do you appreciate any kind of praise? Or, no one gives me praise. And I'm like, so what is it? So you don't give it to anyone else? I feel like you don't have a problem praising someone's impact and value across the organization. It's just a natural part of who you are. Is that fair?
It is fair. And I'll tell you, every week, in fact, after we're done, I will log on for our all hands on deck call we have every week. And, what we do is we try to share so everybody knows the major things going on with the company. But then we talk about the impact that individuals have. And we may let a very, very junior member, screen share, create some slides, everybody knows what they're doing and what their impact will be, and that they can get that recognition from C-level executives, from vice presidents. And I finish, and it's very genuine. I don't have an intention to, like, when we get to the end of the meeting, I just automatically go into, I'm so grateful for you people. And I really am, because I can't do it by myself. And you guys, they're very often extraordinary. And what that creates, and this is the best thing, I often don't have to hold people accountable, which is great, because their coworkers, their contemporaries hold them accountable to the same level of work and excellence that they put into all their tasks at work. So it's really easy. Everybody's like, this is our level and it's up here, and you need to be here with us. I rarely have to get involved in something like that. And that's it. And you should be grateful you have people with you. When you treat them with gratitude and appreciation, people want to work harder. And if they don't level up, we don't even fire them. They feel like they don't fit in then. And that's only happened a couple times.
Yeah.
So I think to me, it's just natural,
We've had such a good conversation. I hate to even say that we're winding it down, but I want to ask you about your own leadership style. Like, is there a leadership style that guides you as you've grown this company?
A lot of my people say, like, oh, that I'm a bit of a blabbermouth. Because sometimes I get, I put my heart on my sleeve and I talk a little bit, maybe too much. But I really think that my strength is that I'm a strong listener, and I'm open to criticism, because my goal is this. My goal is what's best to grow our company. So sometimes I get tough love from my employees, but I have to, if the goal is the goal, if I take my ego out of it, then I can be true to my focus, which is how do we grow HexClad, and how do we make it a place that people just want to work there and want to stay there. And I'll tell you what's kind of, I've shared this a couple times, and like, it sounds silly, but I was the captain of my high school football team. I was the captain of my college club team. I was the president of my fraternity at NYU. And by the NYU, it wasn't a jock house type fraternity. This was NYU. It was artists. It was med students. It was like, we were like, how do we break rules? But the thing about that was, I had to be a leader that had no real control over these people. I couldn't fire anybody. You can't fire them off the football team. What you have to do is find a way to lead with no real power. And that's true leadership, right? That's like, this is what I believe in. Can I enroll you in my vision for that? And that actually was a great foundation for leading, because when you can lead that way, you never have to rely on, you know what, step into my office, you're fired. You know, you get them in line because you passionately lead by example. So I think that's what makes me a strong leader, even when sometimes I stumble as a manager occasionally. I think everybody does. And if I do stumble that way, I have that conviction in my leadership skill to fall back on, recorrect, and and pivot in my management skill.
We've been talking about keeping the best employees. Is there anything that you feel like we haven't addressed on this topic?
I think the laziest way to keep an employee is to give them a raise. I mean, the fact is, look, everybody wants to get paid and they want to get paid fairly, but let's not turn this into this almost like it's not a brothel. You don't pay for your services. So that's like the easiest way to do it. You want people fairly compensated. I think that when we focus, you go in assuming that this is a great individual and a great worker, and treat them like they've already proven that they are that great leader. And they're going to work backwards from that a little bit. And your goal is to when you see those first kind of stumbles as the leader, my job is to step in, right, and be like, okay, how could we have done that differently? Let's work on it together. Because the fact is, the only thing I can't forgive really is laziness. I don't care about mistakes. I make them every day. I try to learn from them and move on. I can't teach you a work ethic. If your mom and dad haven't done it before you got to me, there's nothing I can really do to a 30-year-old to teach them to have a better work ethic. So I think what you do is you take those foundational things, and then it's my job to like man the rudder a little bit on it.
Now, Danny mentioned tough love, and I really just want to use this as a chance to share how important it is to give people the tough love that they need. And tough love that I'm talking about is the tough conversations that many people are avoiding. And if they do have them, they're not being effective with them. So we've got a book coming out, me and my wife. It's called How to Have Tough Conversations. It is close to pre-launch, but I want you to keep tuning in, keep checking in with us if you're interested in improving your skills in tough conversations, i.e. your ability to give tough love. So make sure that you are doing that on a regular basis. All that being said, back to Danny for more of the interview. Danny, we've had a great conversation about how to keep the best employees. I appreciate you sharing with us about your Hexclad brand and what you've done with this is very impactful, I think, for you and for a lot of other people. So I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom about how to keep the best employees.
Hey, I really appreciate your time, Gene. I enjoyed it very much.
I love this interview. Danny's got such a sharp mind around these things, and I really do agree with what he's saying, that people have to feel valued. If you want to keep your best employees, you got to keep them valued. And that really is the biggest part of it. But there's many other elements to it. They want opportunities for growth. They want more money. They do want freedom and autonomy. They want these things, but you want to make sure that you are effective with your ability to really connect with your people, and so your institutional knowledge doesn't walk out the door before you're ready. All that being said, my name is Gene Hammett. If you want to continue growing your company and you think we can help you, reach out to me at gene@genehammett.com. And if you just want to keep listening to the podcast, we'd love it if you shared it with others. But you can go to growththinktank.com and you can share it with anyone. Also, when you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.